Yo, what is going on, my fellow wrestling fans? Welcome to a brand new week and welcome to a brand new edition of what we like to call the Clash of Champions, where we dive headfirst into all the storylines, controversies, personalities, and everything in between that center around this world we know and love as professional wrestling. For better or worse, I'm your host, the vegan you believe in, Conscious Kurt, aka Kurt GPT in the flesh as always. And my co-host needs no introduction, but the hell with it. He's about to give y'all one anyway.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This is Jonathan Randall, the adventurer himself, and welcome back to our wrestling podcast that we like to call our soap opera. We are back live in living color, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a while. We took a little bit of a break. Well, I took a bit of a break because now I am officially a father. Now I've been blessed with a very bright young boy named Ezekiel Arthur Randall, and he weighs in 10 pounds. Surprisingly, 10 pounds, man. He's a big boy, and he's like 23 and a quarter inches long, man. He's a big boy, but I'm very happy to have him in my life. It was a big change in my life, though. But he's very calm. He's very gentle, very sweet boy, and perks comes the perks of coming, with changing his diapers and feeding him, and it was a bit of a it was kind of a rough week, a little bit for me and Samantha, because we had to wake up and losing sleep and stuff, though. But his sleep is getting better, though. But
Good. Glad to hear it, man. Congratulations. I'm
thank
sure
you.
he's a beautiful baby. I can't
He
wait to meet
is.
him in person one of
He
these
is.
days.
He is.
Yeah, definitely changes your life, from what I understand. But
Yeah.
in addition to you now becoming a father, on the wrestling side of things, we did have a wrestling announcement as far as having babies go. And that announcement came from Jimmy Uso and Naomi, as Naomi was scheduled to defend her championship against Io Sky 2 weeks ago on Raw, but she wasn't medically cleared to wrestle in the match and was pulled out. And then after that happened, a whole bunch of speculation and a whole bunch of rumors were coming out about why Naomi had to pull out of the match. And a lot of the speculation was the fact that she was pregnant. And then that following Friday on SmackDown, Joe Tessitore said Naomi was going to be coming out on Raw to make an announcement. And right when he said that, I could pretty much get the idea of what that announcement was going to be. And
Mm,
then before she even made the announcement, Michael Cole on commentary said that there was going to be a bonus edition of Stephanie McMahon's podcast with Jimmy and Naomi as guests on it. So I'm like, okay, we pretty much know where this is going. And then Naomi comes out. She points to the Titan Shrine of footage from that, bonus episode. And it's Jimmy and Naomi announcing that they are pregnant.
yeah. 7 weeks pregnant at the time, right?
7 weeks pregnant, which means she won the title at Evolution while she was technically pregnant and defended it at SummerSlam while she was technically pregnant.
That is crazy, man. And the risk and the bump she was taking. That is, look. I hope the baby's is okay.
Well, she didn't know it at the time that she was pregnant, but now she knows.
True.
So, like, now she's not going to do that
Yeah.
anymore. So,
Of
I'm
course not.
sure it's, yeah, I'm sure it's fine, unless
Yeah.
we hear otherwise.
But I tell you what, though, that was a great promo that she did, though.
That was the best pregnancy announcement I've ever seen in wrestling, period. I know there hasn't been a lot of them, but that one was incredible.
I liked it, and then I love the ending. Look, despite of her relinquishing the title, she's pretty much putting everybody on notice that when she comes back, I love her that quote, that saying that she's been saying for a while now. So she's been a heel. Proceed with caution, whoever is the champion when she comes back. I like that.
Yeah, like how she said the bloodline continues, and then she even bitched out Adam Pierce. She got in Adam Pierce's
She,
face, like, get the hell out of my
yeah.
ring. I ain't giving you shit. Yeah, she was wilding. I liked it. I liked that she stayed in character the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Keeping the heel character. She's kind of like, yeah, having a baby and all that stuff, but you know, don't take me for granted. You know what I mean? So putting
Yeah, she was like,
everybody on notice.
yeah, she said, y'all better thank Jimmy Uso for putting an end to my title reign so soon.
Yeah. But I love the lasting image that at the end of that segment when she left the ring, she left the title in the middle of the ring, and you see the close up shot of the championship in the middle of the ring. I like that.
Yeah, and ironically enough, it was on the Slim Jim logo. and the man who got her pregnant was so she put the title on the little Jimmy after she got pregnant by Big Jimmy by Big Jimmy's little Jimmy.
Oh my god, that makes
That's a
sense.
meme I saw.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy for her. I'm happy for Jimmy. I mean, the timing is kind of not the best because of the great run she was on and
Mhm.
all the momentum she was building up. But there's no better reason for her to leave that run and take a break than for this reason.
So, if I do my calculations correct, 8 months from now, right? Well, most likely
Well,
she's gonna miss WrestleMania.
she said 9 months and change, so it's like the end of August now. So like I could see the earliest she'll be back is maybe SummerSlam next year
Mm-hmm.
because she's not going to come back right away after she has the baby. She's
No, of
going to need
course not.
time.
Oh no, nobody did. Not even Becky Lynch.
Yeah, so let's say hypothetically speaking, the baby's born in what, like March or April. So yeah, baby's born around that time. So she could maybe come back by SummerSlam next year, the earliest, but only time will tell.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, hey, congratulations to her and Jimmy Uso having their first kid soon, and whether it's a boy or a girl doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Bringing a kid in the world is a very exciting blessing, joyful thing. So I would know.
Yeah, congratulations to them.
Yeah,
She was talking about it on her podcast with the Bellas a couple months ago when the Bellas interviewed her.
yeah.
And yeah, I kind of figured that this run she was on recently was going to be like her last major one, but I didn't expect her to actually like get pregnant in the middle of it. That I did not see coming, and she probably didn't see it coming either.
Yeah. I don't know who exactly, but one was speculating that it's kind of like a bad timing thing because, like, when she comes back, will she still be like in the best shape, ring shape wise? You know what I mean? Also because of her age, you know what I mean?
Yeah, those are a lot of questions that are coming up, and yeah, it's going to be a long time before we have the answers to them. But until then,
Mm.
congratulations to Naomi, congratulations to Jimmy Uso, wishing them both the best. But she will be missed on Raw. She definitely will be missed.
Man, that was just we'll see what happens when she comes back though. But that run she was doing, man, it was great. It was very unexpected because she only had
Title
uh
defense.
one title defense. So yeah,
Yeah, I was loving her work too, like the
and
Budu the
you
Fool
were,
line she
you
had,
you were, you were all over that.
the
You
little
were,
laugh,
yeah,
get to the back of the line, get to the biggity back of the line. Yeah, she was killing it. But
yeah.
hopefully she could be every bit as good and have as good of a run when she comes back. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So with Naomi out, the women's world championship is now vacant. And there was a there was supposed to be an announcement about that last night on Raw, where like Adam Pearce met Stephanie Vaquer, and he said that now he needs one more week to come up with an actual idea. So with that being said, the women's title match that Stephanie Vaquer had promised to her at Clash in Paris is now off, and it's postponed
Mm,
into a later date.
mm, mm. Man, oh man. I hope. Look, in all fairness, I mean, look, you got to remember, 70 of our crew earned that title shot, so she still deserves it. I just hope that she's not, robbed of that opportunity. You know what I mean? Look, it's just being postponed on a later date. Most likely, this WrestlePalooza event that we're hearing about, that will be the first, ladies and gentlemen, the first PLE that will be on ESPN. And by the way, this upcoming Clash in Paris PLE will be the last event that will be on the Peacock Network.
yeah,
Unfortunately.
since we since we last spoke to you guys, the news came out that WWE is going to be having their PLEs now on ESPN going forward, starting
Mm,
next year. But now it's been announced that they're going to be doing it a lot sooner. So the
yeah.
first PLE that they're going to be doing from ESPN is going to be WrestlePalooza, and Clash in Paris will be the last one. But they will still retain the rights to Saturday night's main event. The Saturday night's main events will now air exclusively on Peacock and not even on NBC anymore. And the library for WWE is going to be on Peacock until the end of the year.
Oh, so wait, the end of this year, so it won't be not until 2029, for what I was hearing.
Well, no, the library, like the old stuff from WWE, you could still watch on Peacock until the end of this year, and then
So
after that, I don't know.
wow. Um, Real quick before we move on to our Clash of Paris, the whole move. with the PLEs being on ESPN moving forward was not received well by fans because of
Yeah,
the pricing. Because you got to remember how much you got to think about it. You're already paying a subscription for Peacock, right? And then you're going to move your PLE events to ESPN where you have to pay pretty much you have to pay for that. So what I was hearing from an outside source on social media, if you have ESPN Plus, which I have on Hulu, right? You automatically gonna watch them for free anyway because the ESPN Plus has already been paid for.
I have ESPN through YouTube TV, but apparently that doesn't count as far as watching the PLEs, at least for
Yeah,
now.
you still
So I,
have to
I got to
pay.
figure that out.
You still have to pay for it, but that's that part where I don't like. It's like, well, damn. I mean, we had at the end of the day, dude, we missed the WWE Network. That was just so simple to have.
It was so much better. And ever
So
since
much
they moved to
simple.
Peacock, ever since the move to Peacock, it's been like all downhill as far as that goes. And now they're moving it to another platform where you have to pay like a bigger price and all this jazz. Yeah, this is ridiculous.
Regardless of how much you have to pay for it, just paying for it in general is just ridiculous. And I get it. Me and you, I mean, we knew how it was growing up. I mean, it wasn't, it was tough. We had to pay damn near what $50 a month just to order a pay per view. You know what I mean? And if you liked it so much, if you wanted to buy it on home video, it was like damn near what $20 $25. So we get it, but that was a different time now, and I felt like what we had about 10 years ago was the best thing that we had. The WWE Network was the best thing. We had all the content, old and new. And whenever there was a PLE, hey, we were already paying for the subscription, so we already got it. So we didn't have to pay extra for it. That was the best thing that we ever had.
Yep, and they had to ruin it. That damn corporate greed. Yeah, that corporate greed shit is everywhere. It's in the WWE product, whether it's the streaming services, the ticket prices. Hell,
Yeah.
it's stretching to everything, even the movie theaters. Like I went to the movies last week to go see the original Ninja Turtles.
Mm.
Unfortunately, they did not charge 1990 prices, so I had to pay full price to get in. And hell, even a regular size popcorn, just a regular size popcorn is now $10.
Just bring your own food in, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna
Just bring
that's
your
what
own
I'm gonna
food.
do for. I didn't
Yeah.
get popcorn. I got something else, but still, I just saw the price. I'm like, what the fuck? It used to be like at least $5. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah. It's ridiculous, man.
But I will say, going to see that original Ninja Turtles movie in the theater was a fun vibe. It was kind of like being in a time machine.
Hey, that's good, man. See how it see you see that feeling? That's the same feeling I had when I went to see Star Wars Episode 3 earlier this year, man. The same, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the movie theaters are like now onto something. That now bringing back like old movies, so like people will start going back to the movies
Yeah.
again. And it seems
You
like it's
have
working.
to. And even you mentioned how I mean, I don't know if it will be confirmed yet, but they should. You even said that they should re-release Rocky 4 later this year.
That'd be great. That'd be great if they did that. Even for Back to the Future, I know the anniversary passed, but they could still do it.
Yeah.
Or Heat, Your Precious Heat, they could do that for later this year since the 30-year anniversary.
Which I said is the best to me, in my opinion. That's probably like my favorite LA based movie.
Yeah, it's definitely up there. But one movie I did see a few weeks ago that was fucking great and hilarious was the new Naked Gun.
I've been hearing a lot of good things about that movie. I was
It
kind
was
of like, oh,
hilarious.
I felt like, you know what? Honestly, I felt like I never, I don't really have like the opportunity like to really look back and say this. I think this year alone has been a very good year for movies. It's been a long time since I said that.
Yeah, between Sinners, that One of Them Days movie was also pretty funny.
I heard
New
F1 was
Superman,
good.
the new Superman, the new Fantastic Four. I heard good things
Yeah.
about the new Fantastic Four. Naked
Hmm.
Gun was mad funny though. It definitely paid homage to the original ones,
Hmm.
and a lot of great wrestling cameos. Like Cody Rhodes has a cameo in it.
Mm.
Also, Batista has a cameo in it. Buster Rhymes is also in one scene. Also,
Oh,
Stingray from Cobra Kai is actually his partner, Liam Neeson's partner.
wow. That's funny.
Yeah, he's in it.
That's funny. Yeah, there's been a lot of good movies that came out, and there's still more that's going to come out later this year. I know Samantha's excited about the new Conjuring movie that's going to come out next month.
Yeah, and also they're playing a lot of WWE PLEs at movie theaters. They
Yeah, I
started
think
that with
isn't
SummerSlam
Clash
last
of
month.
Oh, okay, yeah, they're gonna also show a Clash of Paris too in the theater. So
Yeah, I might not watch Clash in Paris live because I might go out to a daytime like reggaeton brunch party. So I'll probably watch
reggaeton.
it later.
What?
Yes, reggaeton.
Damn it! Don't. We're done. I'm so jealous right now, man.
Yeah, so now
That-
like if I have to work Saturday night or something, I go out Sunday afternoon instead.
that's cool, man. That's good for you, though. Reggaeton. Oh man, I'm so jealous.
That story I posted a couple Saturday nights ago where I
Yeah,
was like singing on the Daddy Yankee song with Noriega and Nina
yeah.
Sky. Yeah, I was at a reggaeton party there too.
Oh, for real? What did was it?
Yeah,
Mission free or was it?
it's like $20 if you pay ahead of time. It's $20.
That's not bad.
Nah, it's not too bad. It's a rooftop. Yeah, it's a lot of good ass music. It's a good vibe. Pretty girls. Yeah, what more can you ask for?
Oh,
3 rooms too.
guess what? I finally started watching
What'd you finally start watching?
The Sopranos.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I did see that you were
I
watching that.
love. I'm already on the second season. I love that show.
I hate his mom. Yeah, like in the earlier season, I
Oh
really
my
can't
god,
stand
his
his
mom's. Oh
mom.
my god, his mom's. What the hell? What? Mom was just losing it. What the hell? Just get. What?
Speaking
Sheesh.
of which, I need to start the Peacemaker. The new season dropped the other day.
Oh, three,
The John,
season three.
the season two. No, the John Cena
Oh,
show.
oh, right. Okay, I don't know why I was thinking it was a third season. Okay, season two. That's another show I want to watch.
Yeah, I gotta check that out. But
Yeah.
what I will be checking out this weekend, whether I watch it live or not live, will be Clash in Paris, which will be taking
Yes.
place from Paris, France. The first WWE PLE to take place from the city of Paris. And actually, they just uploaded on the WWE Vault channel, like the WWE show they did in Paris back in 1989.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the show that was headlined by Hulk Hogan and Macho Man.
Nice. And crazy. This event is on a Sunday, not a Saturday.
This is going to be on a Sunday. Yes, one of the lone Sunday PLEs. First one we're getting as a lone Sunday PLE, I believe, since Hell in a Cell in 2022.
Wow. How long?
That's the last time they had like a lone Sunday PLE that wasn't like a two-night show or anything.
Mm.
Crazy, son.
Hmm. You know what? When I look at this card, I kind of like the five matches, man. I'm okay with six. Five is like a bit too short.
Yeah, I can understand why, but I don't hate it because I feel like sometimes less is more, and it's better to have like 5 matches on a show that stand out than like 7, 8, 9 matches and only
Oh
like
no,
3 of them
not oh
good.
no, not that. I mean, I'll be okay with six at least. With what they're doing right now, I'll be okay with six. I feel like five is just like, wow.
Yeah, so one of the matches that was taken off the card was the Women's World Championship match that
Yeah.
Stephanie Vaquera was supposed to be in, but since
Mm.
Naomi's out, they're gonna hold off on that for a while. So taking the place of that match, apparently, so from what it looks like, it's going to be Becky Lynch against Nikki Bella for the Women's Intercontinental title. And with that being said, yes, let's get into our predictions for that match. We
Mhm.
had an interesting segment between the two of them last night on Raw where Becky Lynch was going ham on the city of Birmingham, talking mad shit, talking about how she got her career started there, but it was a dump then and it's a dump now. And the best thing that come out of the city of Birmingham died a month ago, referring to Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah. I it's she's been getting a lot of backlash from that, even from Ozzy Osbourne's daughter, Kelly
Oh
Osbourne.
shit.
Yeah, she wasn't happy about it. And yeah, when I read about that, I get it. I knew she was doing it to get heat. I get it on the business aspect of it, but it was too soon to say something like that. That's way too soon.
I get it, but at the same time, she's already in Birmingham, and she maybe has a mentality that when she's gonna get another chance to do something like this, so
I
she took advantage of it there.
I know though, but you got to remember it was just it's only been a month since
Yeah, it's
Ozzy
still
passed
fresh.
away. You know what I mean? I could see if it was like a few years, a few years ago, fine, but it's only been a month. This is like that's similar to the angle between Rey Mysterio and Randy Orton back in '06.
Oh yeah, I got
You
you.
know, when you
And
mentioned how Eddie was in hell, and I was like, dude, this is like what, January?
yeah,
I
like
was
right
like,
after the Royal Rumble,
literally, yeah. And he passed away in November. It's only been what 2 months? Like, dude,
give
that's
or
way
take.
too short, man. Too soon. So this is kind of
Yeah,
similar.
yeah, and she was going on and on saying, well, at least Ozzy had the sense to leave here and go to Los Angeles because honestly, if I had stayed here, I'd want to die too.
Yeah.
Oh
He
shit.
even
Ooh.
not only that, let's take it back further. She even went in on her home country when they're in Ireland for SmackDown this past Friday.
Yeah, she was like telling them that they don't deserve a televised show. They don't deserve it. They don't even deserve her to be there being the star that she is.
That
But
segment
one
was funny.
Yeah, but one line on the segment with Nikki last night that was funny is when like Nikki was, going off on her and said, "You may be a champion, but you're also another c word."
Ooh,
And
yeah,
then
I was yeah, yeah.
and then she
I
said,
was
and then she said the c word I'm referring to is coward. I'm like,
yeah.
damn it, you were right there.
I know, but Becky took it as if, oh, I thought you meant the other C word though, but
And
that's
honestly,
still
that's
just as
worse.
bad.
Yeah, that's just as bad as calling me that c word. So yeah, it was a spicy segment, and in a way, I'm looking forward to the match on Saturday. I definitely think it has potential to be entertaining.
Yeah.
Like people can say what they want about Nikki Bella, she doesn't have to be your favorite. That's fine, but push come to shove, she's had some good matches with some great talent over the years, from Charlotte to Natalia, among other people. So I think she could have every bit as good of a match with Becky Lynch here, but that does not mean I think she's going to win. And I think Becky Lynch finds a way to itch and scratch and claw, cheat, whatever she does, and she is leaving Paris with that championship belt.
I agree. She's when I look at her now, I think this is probably like her best heel work, in my opinion, what she's doing right now. You know what I mean? And ever since she's came back and the feud with Lala Vakila, and now she's the new, women's IC champion. I love her heel work. I love her new theme song. I love her attitude. I love it, everything about her. And yeah, she's going to retain. And is going to be an entertaining match. Has been a great build up, but yeah, Becky's going to retain. So there's no need for her to drop it.
Yeah, I could even see this feud even stretching beyond Clash in Paris. I could see them continuing it beyond this. But regardless of how it goes Saturday, I think Becky finds a way to retain. And that
Mm.
crowd is going to make it fun. I could definitely see that crowd being super duper lit.
Oh, of course, there's no surprise. The international crowds never disappoint. Come on now, we saw that last night on Raw.
Yeah,
We
for
saw
Roman
every
Reigns.
no matter what country they're in, international, they're always going to deliver. It's not a surprise.
Yeah, they were super lit for Roman Reigns, who came out last night to open Raw.
Yeah.
And that's going to get us into our next prediction because Roman Reigns this Sunday at Clash in Paris will be going one on one with the tribal thief, the owner of the Shuafala, Big Bronson Reed.
So the last time we were talking, he had one pair of shoes, right?
And then I went to Raw that same night where Bronson Reed attacked Roman and stole his other pair of shoes.
And now he has two.
Yeah.
Wow, a lot has changed within a month.
Yo, I love this. I love this new thing they're doing with Bronson Reed, how he's the tribal thief. They have
Yeah,
like a t shirt for him and everything. Yo, it's great. It's brilliant.
I love it. He's getting definitely pushed. Look, we all thought that his feud with Braun Strowman was something. No, but no, this is better. This is way better. He's getting more exposed now. He's under Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman's toolage. I like that. This is good for him. You know what I mean? So,
And he's
um,
getting a match at a PLE against Roman Reigns, one of
of
the
all
biggest stars in
people,
the company. Yeah, this
yes,
is this is the biggest match he's ever had in his career.
yeah, very big, and I'm happy for him. Um, huh? Really
I don't
never.
think he wins though.
Who?
Bronson Reed. It's a great spot for him to be in. This whole thing he's doing with like stealing Roman sneakers has been great, but I don't think he gets the win here.
Hmm.
I still think it'll be a kick-ass match. I think Reed is definitely going to show how capable he is of hanging with the main stars and hanging in the main event scene. But I think this match ends in a loss and Roman Reigns picks up the win.
Okay. Kind of wouldn't surprise me if Bronson Reed did win though, because to get more heat on him and take him seriously. I'm not saying that we haven't because of what he's been doing to Roman for the past like month or so. But you know
Yeah,
what?
it's funny. It's funny enough. I think this is Roman's like first like real singles match at a PLE since the match with Cody at WrestleMania last year where he lost the title.
Yeah.
His last few matches at PLEs have been tag matches or triple threats or whatever. And yeah,
Hmm.
this is going to be his first one where he's actually in a
Yeah.
singles match.
Well, I got Roman winning, but I will not be surprised if Braun Breaker wins. I'm just,
Braun
Bronson Reed
Breaker.
wins. It's all right. You know what I'm saying. Bronson Reed.
Yeah, but I think Roman wins, but I think it'll be a fun ass match. Yeah, I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to it. And in our next match, for the last time, for the final blow off to this feud that's been going on for months, we have Sheamus going one on one with Rusev and a Donnybrook.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad this is ending finally because they've been going at it with each other on Raw for damn near I don't know how many weeks. And look, all the matches have been hard hitting, very physical. But their last match on Raw, they literally took it outside the ring to the point where every segment that you saw backstage, they were brawling, no matter who it was.
Yeah, but I was at
So
Raw a few weeks ago when they did the same thing.
yeah, so yeah, it needs to end, and if I'm picking Sheamus to win.
I'm gonna go with Rusev. I think Rusev wins this match and then he moves on to possibly challenging for a singles title.
Okay.
It's been a great feud. I've enjoyed it. I'm enjoying what they've done with these brawls backstage in recent weeks, and I think the match on Sunday is going to be one we come away from that show talking about perhaps the most.
Okay.
But yeah, I have Rusev winning. I think Rusev does pick up the win here.
Hmm.
So we have that match, and also in one of John Cena's last matches before his official retirement at the end of the year, John Cena will go one on one with the douchebag fuck Logan Paul.
It's been a while since you said that.
Yeah, it has been a few weeks. I
I
missed
know.
it.
um, it's really crazy how you know what. Can't believe I'm saying this though, but I have Logan Paul winning because Brock Lesnar
Really?
will interfere and cost John Cena the match.
That could happen, but I don't see Cena losing to Paul at all. And his retirement tour, he just turned babyface. I don't see him losing to Logan Paul. No way. No way.
Okay, if Cena wins, Brock Lesnar will still show up.
Well, Brock Lesnar's technically not advertised to return until SmackDown. I believe it's on September 12th. Yeah, September 12th.
Hmm.
So, I mean, there's a chance he could show up at Clash in Paris, but I wouldn't really count on it. I think this match with Cena and Paul is going to be damn entertaining. Like, regardless of what I think about Logan Paul personally, the dude still puts on great performances when the time comes to do so. So,
Yeah.
I think he could definitely pull a great match out of John Cena here. But I think John Cena lays his ass out the way he should be laid out, and he picks up the win.
Okay.
Yeah, but I did love that segment on SmackDown Friday where John Cena just tore his ass apart.
No surprise. He even called
Oh, he
out
deserved it.
the sports drink sponsor.
Oh yeah, he tipped it all over. Holy
Yeah.
shit. Good. That energy drink's probably full of artificial flavors anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I ever tried it. I think I heard one negative thing about it, and I'm kind of like, yeah, no, thank you.
Probably have you turning into the zombies in a Thriller video or some
Oh,
shit.
right.
All right, but yeah, I have John Cena winning this match. And in the main event, and probably the most predictable match on the whole show, we have a fatal four way for the World Heavyweight Championship as Seth Rollins will defend his championship against CM Punk, the man he stole the championship from last month at SummerSlam, LA Knights, and main event Jey Uso.
For the past couple of weeks, there's been turmoil amongst the three of them, especially between LA Knight and CM Punk. And we saw last night where they just got into a scuffle where Jey Uso super kicks LA Knight, then out of nowhere he super kicks CM Punk. So yeah, from Seth Rollins' um, point of view, he kind of likes what he's seeing. He wants to see the turmoil between those three, so it could be an easier way for him to get the victory. And that's what's pretty much what's going to happen. Seth Rollins is going to retain. I don't see him losing his title in this type of style of matchup. If he's going to lose the title, it's going to be one on one, not in a fatal four way.
Yeah, Roman Reigns was kind of giving Jey Uso a pep talk last night backstage, talking about how you got to stop like looking out for other people. You don't have to be so nice all the time. It's okay to be competitive. Like you earned this, you deserve it. And then you saw that like play out in the segment at the end of the night where Jay laid out both Punk and LA Knight. But considering that he did that, and considering that this is a four-way, and also considering that Rollins just got the title 3.5 weeks ago,
Yeah.
there is no chance in hell that Jey Uso comes out of this with the championship.
Okay, Vince McMahon
Oh, I
had
saw
a chance in hell.
it was Vince's birthday the other day. I saw he had like a
80th.
big birthday party like in NY, like with Brock Lesnar. No, not Brock Lesnar, my bad. Undertaker was there. Shane McMahon was there. Sheamus was there. JBL was there. Bruce Pritchard.
Oh wow.
Yes. Yeah. Did you see how Vince looked on that TMZ Hogan documentary?
The same.
Everyone was saying he was looking like the Joker in the Batman movie, the Jack Nicholson one,
Oh God. He looks more
with the
like
paint.
right. You could be one of the Boss Christian, one of the leader, the original leader from the mafia group in that movie.
Something like that. But yeah,
Yeah.
anyway, back to the match. I think it'll be a fun ass match. I think these four guys are gonna beat the hell out of each other and like really throw down, considering the setting and considering that it's gonna be the main event more than likely.
Yeah.
But yeah, Seth Rollins is not losing that championship. It does not happen here. No
No.
chance. No way.
Of course not. It's like similar when remember when Rollins cashed in at WrestleMania 31 10 years ago, right? And remember he had the
Yeah.
rematch with Orton the following PLE. Like, okay, I mean, yeah, he already lost to Orton at Mania. He's not going to lose again, and he's just
Or
in that in the way he won the title in that great fashion that he did. Come on, now. He's not going to lose. It's the same thing with
or
this one.
that or last year when Cody beat Roman at WrestleMania, then the next month at Backlash, which was also in France, he faced AJ Styles. Great match, one of the best matches of the year, but realistically, everybody and their mother knew how that match was going to end.
Yeah.
And we all know how this match is going to end. Seth Rollins is going to find his way out of this whole scenario. They could play it up all they want that he has a disadvantage and all that jazz, but we all know that he's retaining his title. I think there is going to be one point where all three of his opponents fight each other, and then all of a sudden they turn their attention to him, and then
Oh
they
yeah.
all beat shit out of him at one point.
Oh
But
yeah.
ultimately, he's going to find a way to win.
I'll always see that in those type of style of matches, that chemistry where, Seth, the one person is going to be like, no, no, y'all beat each other up. And they're like, no, let's
But you know
attack
what's funny
them. And
though? What you know what's hilarious though about this whole Seth Rollins stable division and all that. You know what's the funniest thing about this?
mm,
He's the least interesting person out of all of them.
true, though, he's been more in the background and he's kind of like rubbing the shine more on Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed more.
And even with Heyman, it doesn't even feel like him and Heyman like have chemistry like that. The same way that Brock and Heyman had chemistry and Roman and Heyman had
True.
chemistry.
That
Like
is
so
true.
far, it doesn't feel that way. It could always get better, but so far, it does not feel that way.
I think if they're, I'm not trying to nitpick or anything, but I think if Seth wants to stand out more, I think he needs to just be more involved more and just stand out just a little bit more and be more involved. I get he's trying to rub that shine off of on Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. This is similar to Evolution. You know what I mean? The whole point was to get that shine on Randy Orton, Batista, but yet Triple H still stood out.
Yeah, not my favorite time period of Triple H for that matter too.
Okay, we can't. All right.
Yeah,
Okay, this.
I'm not the only person who feels that way. The Triple H reign of terror, that Triple H period has been well documented about how uninteresting he was compared to the Attitude Era and even some years afterwards. But that's another story for another time.
Yeah. Did you before we jump into our DeLorean and head back to 1991 for SummerSlam? Did you saw that video of this wrestling match, this independent wrestling match of Raja
With
Jackson?
where you where he attacked that dude Sky
Yeah.
Psycho Stu. Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah.
That
Wow.
looked bad. That looked bad. The
That
way he
was
beat that out of him, that looked bad.
that was bad. And I get it. I saw a video of him of what's the other dude was like
Psycho
apparently
Stu
was
like hit him in the head with like a beer can earlier, and then I think he
yeah,
even apologized about it afterwards. But
but
apparently
at
that
the same
apology wasn't
time
enough.
at the same time, you know that cardinal rule, the cardinal sin. You don't go into business for yourself, and I explained that to Samantha. Like at the end of the day, you still don't be doing that.
Like in the
Like
middle
that
of
was 22 like unconscious hits that could kill a man.
yeah, that was bad.
Like you don't do
And
that.
like
I don't care. I don't care what your vendetta is with the person that you're working with in the ring,
mhm.
or if that person's been a jerk. You don't do out of stuff out of character to initially hurt somebody. That's a prime example of going into business for yourself. You don't do that.
Yeah, he could face criminal charges. He could face jail time. Yeah, this could be a fucked up situation for homeboy. But yeah, I can't defend him because doing some shit like that is uncalled for. I understand the dude did something to you before, and I get that, but that was not the way to handle it, and that shit was way too far, too fucking far.
Just countless hits, man. It wasn't just one. It was like damn near like I don't know how many times he hit him.
Yeah, that shit was disturbing. That shit was super uncomfortable to watch. I can
And
imagine what the people who were there were feeling when they saw that.
well, yeah, and I a lot of people were against it. I heard that some people were defending it. I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah,
Like, how can you defend that?
Mark Henry defended it a little bit. Also,
What
RVD defended it.
what are you saying?"
Mark Henry basically said that yeah, the dude was wrong for what he did, but the other dude who like provoked him should have known better, should have known that the dude's not a wrestler and he shouldn't have provoked him the way he did.
No, no, no. There's no defending that. I'm sorry. Like that's again, and Mark, look, you should know stuff like that. You know the cardinal sin when it comes to professional wrestling, going into business for yourself. You don't do that.
Yeah, that shit was messed up. Yeah, that was wrong.
That will get you killed professionally. Like you would, no matter what promotion that you're in. If it, I don't, it doesn't matter if it's independent. You'll literally they'll throw you out.
Yeah, so that's something I don't ever want to see in wrestling again. I don't know
Oh,
what the ramifications and consequences are going to be coming out of this, but yeah, that was yeah some fucked up shit to
disturbing.
say the very
Did
least.
RVD had that same opinion as Mark Henry too?
He said he would elaborate more on it on his podcast today, but yes, he did say he's taking the
Oh,
side of Raja for what he did.
okay. I thought he had it already because I read his post, but I thought he already had that podcast already though. But still, I mean, it
He's
just
gonna dive
unfortunate
into
for
it a little later, but we'll see what he
yeah.
says. But yeah, some really disturbing shit. But
Mhm.
was but with that being said, my brother, are you ready to jump back into our wrestling DeLorean?
Yes, it's been a long time. I'm ready.
So we're taking you guys back to August of 1991. And as of our recording, today is the 34-year anniversary of the show we are going to be talking about today, SummerSlam, which took place that year from Madison Square Garden here in my neck of the woods of New York City. And yes, this is a very memorable show for many, many reasons. And it's one of my personal favorite SummerSlams. When I used to rent wrestling events from the video store when I was a kid. This is one of the main ones that stood out to me most, and for good reason. And I can't wait to jump into the good, bad, ugly, and everything in between that shaped SummerSlam '91.
Oh, well, man, so much was going on in the world. I was not born yet. I was still in my mom's tummy, August of 1991.
I was 5.5 years old. I was 5.5 years old. I was living in South
Wow.
Florida at the time. I was not watching wrestling yet. I was not into wrestling, but I was into the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles at this time. I was into that.
Did by that time was the second one out already? How many were?
Yeah, yeah. The second one had already come out earlier that year. The second
Okay.
one actually came out the weekend of WrestleMania 7.
Okay.
And the first one, funny enough, came out the weekend of WrestleMania 6.
Nice. I could already like assume what was the number one movie during that time was Terminator 2, without
Yep,
question.
it was the number one movie that whole summer.
Yeah. Came out July that year, right?
Yeah, July 4th weekend. That came out that summer. Also, another incredible movie that came out that same summer, one of my personal favorites, Boys in the Hood.
You know what's funny? I was really thinking about a lot about that movie earlier. I'm not gonna lie because when I sent you that video about best LA based movies, some of them were saying Boys in the Hood, and when I think about movies like that, when you're filming a movie in a city, no matter what city that you're in, right? You want to show a lot about your city, everything. You know what I mean? The culture of the city. And when I think about Boys in the Hood, it's funny because John Singleton did a good job exposing the other side of that city. Because if you're not from LA, you think of LA and you think of, it's Hollywood, Beverly Hills, palm trees, and the beach and all the beaches and stuff, right? But you don't know the harsh side, the other side of that city. You don't think about the crime rate. You don't think about the hood, Compton, Watts, and all these other places, in that area. And that movie exposed that.
Yeah, you could say the same thing about Miami too. People have this whole image of Miami of being all fun and the beaches and the palm trees also, and like, yeah, the party life, but there is a very dark side to the city of Miami that people don't know enough about too.
Do you think Scarface exposed that, or
To a degree, yes, but I'm not talking about places like, Carroll City, Liberty City,
yeah,
etc. Those kind of places. Little Haiti, yeah, it's ugly down there, son. Yeah, the hoods in Miami are no joke.
yeah,
Yeah, Miami is not to be fucked with, especially if you ever see the video for the Hustlin' song from Rick Ross. That's
mm.
um another thing that exposes it, where like the video starts off in like the fun parts of Miami South Beach, and then it crosses the bridge and it takes you to the shittier parts of Miami.
Oh wow, that's funny. I sent you that little video about they're thinking about. I think the director of Top Gun, Maverick's thinking about making a Miami Vice movie. I'm like, oh,
I
but
already
that's
had
the
enough.
director. That's the director of the Top Gun Maverick. If he did a good job with that movie, I'm confident he could do a good job with a Miami Vice.
Maybe he could, but just after how the Miami Vice movie turned out 20 years ago, I'm not like really in a rush to go see another one.
I know that was disappointing because Michael Mann directed that one, right?
It wasn't just that. Yeah, like he directed it. Also, Jamie Foxx apparently was a pain in the ass on set. Yeah, the movie just like, yeah, it didn't work out. It just did not
Mm,
work out.
okay.
All right, but anyway, other hot movies that were out during this time were the Robin Hood movie, Robin Hood Prince of Thieves, I think it was
Is
called.
that with Kevin Costner?
That's the one. Yeah.
I
Which
don't
funny
think I
enough,
ever saw that one.
I never saw it, but the one thing I do know about this movie is the damn theme song to it, which was actually the number one song in the country at the time
Really?
of this SummerSlam. The "Everything I Do It For You" song from Brian Adams. Yeah, that was the number one song during this time.
Oh wow, it's funny. Oh,
Everything I do it for you. Yeah, I remember that song very well.
funny. Um, I think didn't the Super Nintendo came out that year?
I believe so. Super Nintendo came out that year. I think Genesis also came out in '91 too.
I'm trying to hold on. Let me see because it did came out in '91. I'm trying to think if what month exactly. Um, because I know it came out in '91. Um, it doesn't say though. I know it came out in '91 though. But yeah,
Is what it is.
yeah.
Yeah, Boys in the Hood was out. Terminator 2 was out. That was a classic. We've talked about that movie on this show before.
One
Also,
of the best sequels.
Yeah, hands down.
Yeah.
Thelma and Louise, the Robin Hood movie. Yeah,
Mm.
it was a poppin' summer for movies to a degree. Not the
Mm.
most poppin', but yeah, enough hits where, you're going to the movies regularly.
And that summer, Michael Jordan won his first ring.
Yes, he did. Michael Jordan won his first NBA title that June by beating the LA Lakers.
Hmm.
And it's funny enough, right after this SummerSlam, Magic Johnson would announce his retirement due to the
Oh,
HIV that he caught.
yeah. He won't make the announcement until was it November, right?
Yeah, a couple months after
Yeah.
this, but
Yeah, but that's so crazy, man. That whole series because it was the beginning of the Bulls dynasty, but it was the end of Showtime Lakers.
yeah,
Yeah,
end of one era, beginning of another one.
man. And if I'm being quite honest with you, I let that one slide because like, dude, everybody loves Michael Jordan. Who does not like Michael Jordan as a player at that time? I mean, even if you were a Knicks fan, everybody loved Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? So as a Laker fan, I mean, I wasn't born yet, but though at the same time, you let it slide. Everybody was happy that he finally did it. after all the hell that he was going through trying to get through the
Pistons.
Detroit Pistons, and you finally get there and you finally get your first ring, and against all teams, the Lakers of all teams, one of the probably like the most dominant team in the '80s, to do it on the road. Yeah, that says a lot.
Yeah, definitely. It was a well deserved title.
Hmm.
And yeah, it was the beginning of that Bulls dynasty that would define the whole 90s. And funny
Hmm.
enough, the hottest show during this time was a show that they were playing like during the summer, even though, like, most shows don't play during the summer. Beverly Hills 90210.
I never
This was the
watched that.
time. This was the time frame when that show really blew up because, like, during the summer they started playing newer episodes since all the other networks had like their shows in reruns. Fox decided to like air new episodes of Beverly Hills 90210, and that's when it started to blow up.
Mm,
Because
okay.
the first season was earlier that year, and it kind of like had mixed reviews and didn't do that well ratings wise. But then once they started playing the new episodes in the summer, that's when it just fucking took off.
Hmm. I never watched that show.
Yeah, I went back and watched it a couple years ago. It was a pretty good show. It's not my favorite teen show that honest to goes to Boy Meets World, but I like that it was like, different in the sense that it was like a teen show that was more serious, that tackled more serious topics. It wasn't a comedy, it was a drama. And yeah,
Mm,
it definitely deserves its flowers in that sense.
okay.
Yeah, so all that was going on in the world of like pop culture at the time. And also Naughty by Nature was about to drop their first album with OPP that came out around this period. Also Summertime from DJ Jazzy Jeff and
Oh,
the Fresh Prince.
yes. Oh, and Fresh Prince was that they were um coming
About
off
to
their
start their
first
second
season.
season. They were about to
Yeah.
start their second season right after this. And
Yeah.
it's so funny, like around this time they had that episode of Fresh Prince where where Will gets a job, but he's trying to hide it from Uncle Phil, and then Uncle Phil doesn't believe
Oh,
him.
right. And he was working at that pirate theme restaurant.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then Vivian's trying to talk sense into Uncle Phil. She's like telling him like, if Will has a job, we should believe him. And then Uncle Phil's like, "You're so naive, Vivian. You would believe that boy if he told you that he was a big time rap star whose album just went platinum."
And it was funny.
Genius,
It was funny
genius.
I think later in the episode they were talking in the bathroom, right? It's funny. Uncle Phil against once again used against Will. He's like, Will, sometimes parents just don't understand. And Will
Oh, that
was
was a
like,
different episode. That was a different episode.
that was so funny that he used that.
Yeah, that was a different episode though. But yeah, it was funny too.
I need to rewatch that show. That's like the one show where I'm like, I literally like know most of the episodes
Yeah, me
by
too. Yeah,
heart.
it never gets old.
Yeah.
So yeah, you had Fresh Prince that was on at the time. You had Full House, which was at its peak at the time. You also had Family
Mm.
Matters, which was at its peak at the time. Yeah, 91 was the year of Urkel, where they had the Urkel doll, they had the Urkel dance. He was like making appearances at award shows and having everybody do the Urkel dance with him. Yeah,
Wow.
Urkel was a pop culture icon, son. I don't care what anyone says.
Oh, okay. Hmm.
Yeah, Family Matters like didn't age well in many ways, and the later seasons are unwatchable. But in those few years that it was good and Urkel was hot, holy shit, man!
Wow.
All right, but although it was still hot at the time, but it was kind of on its way down, the WWE product and the main feud that was dragging through WWE throughout this year was the Hulk Hogan and Sergeant Slaughter feud, which is based upon Sergeant Slaughter turning his
Oof.
back on America and lining with Iraq and like showing support to Iraq during the Persian Gulf War. By this point, the Persian Gulf War had already ended, and yet
Hmm.
Sergeant Slaughter was still doing this gimmick. He was still wearing the Iraqi flag on his tights. But and yeah, this it was like really played out by this point, but yet it was still stretching on even past WrestleMania.
Man, it's funny because like the early part of 1991 was, yeah, we were in the Persian Gulf War. Hell, even the Super Bowl that year, they were very high on security, and
Yeah.
the whole theme of it was America and all that stuff, and
I
yeah.
remember even A Different World did an episode about the Persian Gulf War, like around the time it was going on
Oh,
where where Dwayne Wayne's friend, who's played by Blair Underwood, comes to visit him, and he's about to
Mm,
get shipped off to the war, and like he's kind of like trying to act like he's not scared, but by the end of the episode, he kind of like opens up and breaks down. He's saying, "I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm gonna die. I'm scared. I'm not gonna come back." Yeah, everybody was touching on that war during that time.
wow. Heavy stuff, man.
Very heavy stuff, and yeah, and WWE at the time was trying to exploit the war. They were trying to build into this big story where Hogan would face Sergeant Slaughter at WrestleMania 7 in a big stadium like the Los Angeles Coliseum. But because tickets were so bad and ticket sales were so low during this time frame, they had to move it to the LA Sports Arena.
Yeah, and I remember when I was younger, I thought the reason was because they were scared of a bomb threat because of the storyline that they were doing, but it turned out they just couldn't get enough ticket sales. That's crazy.
Yeah, they always. I mean, yeah. Granted, Sergeant Slaughter was getting death threats and all that, but the main reason why they moved the location was because yeah, tickets were not selling well. And it's so crazy because like during this time, they still have Hogan, they still have Warrior, they still have Savage, and even if that angle wasn't great, you'd figure they would still sell a lot of tickets anyway. But yeah, I guess people weren't having it.
Crazy.
Yeah, but a storyline that was good at this time that for some reason they did not put on this SummerSlam card was the storyline involving the Ultimate Warrior, The Undertaker, and Jake the Snake Roberts.
Yeah, and when I look at this card, right, that was I like the storyline that they were doing, but it was like, damn, they could have did a tag match, and Undertaker was not on this card, surprisingly.
And Jake wasn't on the damn card either. It's so weird.
Yeah.
That storyline had been like dragging for months. Like ever since after WrestleMania, they did that angle on the funeral parlor where Undertaker attacked Ultimate Warrior and then locked him in the casket. And then Ultimate Warrior was going to Jake the Snake Roberts for advice on how to like, get the better of
Oh,
the Undertaker.
I remember
So
that.
Jake put him through all these different tests, like all these different like scenarios to like test him to get him prepared for the Undertaker. And then in the final test, he like locked Ultimate Warrior in a room and he said the answer to defeating the Undertaker is in that box. And then when Ultimate Warrior opens the box, it's a big King Cobra that bites him in the face. And then like he's shivering, he's like convulsing, all that other shit. And then all of a sudden he gets to Jake the Snake's feet. And then Jake just basically tells him, "I'm a snake. You never ever trust a snake." And then
Mm,
Jake is standing right next to the Undertaker and Paul Bear as this is all going on.
that was scary.
Oh shit.
Scary. It's the only word I could say. Scary. Oh.
Yeah, so you had that great feud with Ultimate Warrior and Undertaker, which they were doing at house shows pretty much throughout that whole spring and summer, and then it's
Mm.
gonna pretty much transition to a feud between Ultimate Warrior and Jake, and yet neither one of them are on this damn show. They gave us Hogan and Warrior against Sergeant Slaughter and the Iraqis in a storyline that's been played out for like 5 months.
Right. It faded out. It was like, dude, we already, did that. I mean, look, Hogan winning the title against Slaughter at Mania, that should have sealed it, but they
Yeah.
still were continuing this foolish storyline where the Gulf War was already over, and like, why are you still doing it? It's
They could have done Hogan and Warrior against Jake and Undertaker, or even a handicap match with Hogan and Warrior against Jake, Undertaker, and Slaughter. That would have I could have even done
yeah,
that.
yeah. The one thing I I know you're gonna agree with me when I say this. It was the intro for this one. Like
I can't
from
do
the
the impression anymore because of how I feel about Vince and all that. It's like weird doing
oh,
impressions of him.
it
But
was
yeah,
probably
it
the
was classic.
funniest thing
It was
ever.
classic.
It was probably like the classic, most like funniest thing I ever heard. You kind of like got a little bit of a foreshadowing of how Vince is going to be like later in the future, especially when he says a match made in hell. I'm like, what?
Yeah, so
He was in the studio really like, like, oh,
yeah, so that was the
sinking his
tagline for
teeth in
this.
with this.
Yeah, yeah, so that was the tagline for the SummerSlam, the match made in hell, which would be Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior against Sergeant Slaughter, Colonel Mustafa, and General Adnan, with a newly debuting Sid Justice as a special guest referee.
I can't get over the name Colonel Mustafa. Really?
Just call him the Iron Sheik.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and then they have Sid Justice as the referee. He just came in from WCW like very recently, and they had that as the first attraction for the main event. And the other attraction was the match made in heaven, which would be the wedding between Macho Man Randy Savage and Miss Elizabeth.
You know what's even weird about that one? Um even Jake the Snake Roberts was terrorizing Macho Man Randy Savage and Miss
Well, that
Elizabeth.
was after. That was
Oh,
after this.
after. Oh,
We'll get into that a little later, but yeah, that was
yeah.
after this. So yeah, Savage and Elizabeth got back together at WrestleMania 7 in that great
Mm,
moment
hmm.
after the match between Warrior and Savage. And then on an episode of Superstars, like in July, they do this whole segment where like Savage is talking about getting back in the ring at SummerSlam, but it's not to get into the ring to wrestle. It's to get into the ring to marry the love of his life. And then he pulls out a wedding ring and says, Elizabeth, Elizabeth, I love you. And then he gets down on one knee, holds up the ring, and says, Elizabeth, will you marry me? And then Elizabeth, in the classic response, she just basically says it best. Oh, yeah. Great stuff. Great stuff.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So that was the attraction. We had Savage and Elizabeth getting married, even though they've been married in real life for 7 years, and
Mhm.
Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior against the Iraqis.
Horrible.
Very, but what was not horrible about this SummerSlam was the undercard. And in all honesty, going back to watch it yesterday, it's the undercard and the moments that happened during the undercard that makes this show as memorable as it is.
Especially the second match, which we'll get into later, though. But the first match, I was actually. It's been a while. Well, it's a good minute since I watched it, but I was actually surprised with who was in the first match. By the way, it was Ricky the Steamboat Dragon, what was just known as the Dragon. During his
Wearing
time.
a horrible dragon costume.
Uh,
That whole like dragon thing he was wearing around his head, I'm like, yo, somebody should
bit
just
too
burn that
much.
shit to pieces.
Just a
Hell
bit
yeah,
too
too
much.
much.
Yeah.
It was just clearly their way of fucking with him. This is basically their way of fucking with him because he didn't leave on the best of terms a few years before, and then he went to WCW and he won the title, had that great series with Flair. So they brought him back and in a way made a joke out of him.
Wow. Oy.
Yeah. So it was the Dragon, Texas Tornado, and the British Bulldog against the Warlord in Power and Glory.
Um, I mean, it was a it was okay match just to get the night started.
Yeah, it was a
But
fine opener. It had some fun action here and there. There
yeah.
was one spot towards the end that looked a little confusing when the British Bulldog hit Paul Roman with a power slam, and he's like about to go make a tag, but then instead he tries to cover Paul Roman. Then Paul Roman awkwardly kicks out, and then he tags in Ricky Steamboat, and Ricky Steamboat hits Paul Roman with the crossbody, and then that's the end of the match.
Yeah, it was a weird way though, but it was what it is, what it is. But
Yeah, it was crazy to see how far kind of Kerry Von Erich fell off compared to SummerSlam the year before, where
um
at SummerSlam 90, he beats Mr. Perfect for the Intercontinental title. And in SummerSlam 91, he's pretty much like, yeah, like in a, just like a thrown together 6-man tag.
mm. Now this one, ladies and gentlemen, the next match, this is probably one of your favorite matches, probably one of your favorite matches in SummerSlam history, but
Goes
your
without saying.
GOAT, your GOAT, Bret Hart versus Mr. Perfect for the Intercontinental Championship. And this was a great match.
Great match. Mr. Perfect was in the middle of a very long Intercontinental title reign, but unfortunately, earlier in the summer, he injured his back, and that kept him on the sidelines for a few months to the point where he probably shouldn't have even been in this match. But he gutted it out, and in many ways did this match as a favor to Bret Hart after the history they had together over the years, all the times they worked together before, where Mr. Perfect always beat Bret. So this is like in a way Bret's come up in. So like Bret's favor getting returned. And yeah, despite Mr. Perfect having a bad back going into this match, also noticeably his hair was cut going into this match too compared to before.
Oh, I didn't really pay attention to that.
Yeah, he looked a little different in this match compared to like when you see him like in WrestleMania 7. Yeah, you could notice that.
Hmm.
Yeah, his hair is shorter. He's kind of in different shape because he hasn't been wrestling as much. So yeah, you could like
Hmm.
definitely tell he's not at 100%. But despite not being at 100%, he put on a damn classic with Bret Hart on this show.
They both did, and I look at this match as this is like the what's that saying? This is the
Coming out
crowning
party.
moment. The
Coming
coming
out
yeah
party.
coming out party, the crowning moment for Bret Hart because he's always been a tag team person with the Hart Foundation, with Jim the Nedville
Neidhart.
and Neidhart. You know what I mean? And he's stepping into that single spotlight, and there's no better way to do it at SummerSlam for the Intercontinental Championship. Pretty much the championship, the stepping stone championship that will lead you to greater things. This was the crowning moment, man. This is the coronation for Bret Hart.
Yes, it was. And after a competitive match, Perfect beat the hell out of him through a healthy chunk of it. Even
Mm,
Bret kicked out of the Perfect Plex at one point. And what was also noticeable during this match was Bret Hart's parents being at ringside for it.
yeah, yeah. When he walked to the ring, they show a little clip of his parents.
Yo, but one thing that was funny about this match was Bobby Heenan's commentary, where
Oh
they
God.
show a shot of like Stu and Helen and like Gorilla Monsoon saying, "Oh, what a concerned look on the faces of Stu and Helen Hart," and then Bobby Heenan says the reason why they look concerned is because they snuck it and they're afraid they're gonna get caught.
Bobby.
Oh shit!
Oh, that Bobby.
Yeah, but then at one point Bret Hart punches the coach off the apron, the manager who took Bobby Heenan's place after he retired earlier that year. And then Perfect kicks the ropes into Bret Hart's groin, and then Perfect does a leg drop to Bret Hart on the groin. And then he does a second leg drop to Bret, but then Bret catches him, reverses it into a sharpshooter, and then Mr. Perfect submits. Referee calls for the bell, and Bret Hart wins his very first singles championship, that being the Intercontinental Championship.
And that crowd went wild.
Oh, they lost it.
Yeah.
Great moment for Bret. This is like we said before, his coming out party. This would be like the first stepping stone to what would be a great career for him throughout the '90s. And yeah, he even said himself, like he never expected to become WWE champion. Like his main goal in WWE was to win the Intercontinental title, and he realized if he could at least do that, that's as far as he needed to go.
Yeah. I think whenever you are in the business, you want to set goals for yourself. You know what I mean? And, everybody wants to be a world champion, but not everybody has the opportunity to do it. At least have some sort of goals that you want to do, win that championship or any other championship. And for him to accomplish that, hey, I did it, and then look, it led him to bigger things in the future, and it did. So um there's a lot of wrestlers in the past have had coronation moments. This is one of the best.
And he got to have two of them at Madison Square Garden between this win here at SummerSlam and also winning the title at WrestleMania 10.
Oh yeah, yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, but he got to win the Intercontinental title here. Awkwardly, he ripped off Mr. Perfect's tights after the match. That was a little weird that he did
Yeah,
that.
I know. Yeah, it's because he was leaving the ring and he threw him back in the ring. I think that was just a mistake, but
Yeah, I know half of like Mr. Perfect's tights like ripped off like in the middle of the match, but then like right after the match is over, Bret Hart just pulls his tights off.
yeah, that was weird. You're right.
Yeah, a little bit, but it is what it is. Bret wins the
Uh,
title. He celebrates with his family and his parents after the match, which is also nice to see. And also, we move on to our next match. We have the newly formed Natural Disasters going against the Bushwhackers with Andre the Giant in their corner.
yeah. You think it was a bit weird seeing Andre the Giant? I mean, it was 1991. It was literally Andre was kind of like pretty much like semi-retired at this time. Yeah.
Yeah, basically, this was funny enough his last pay per view appearance for WWE and one of his last televised appearances for them too.
Wow. Ooh. Wow.
He
Mm,
made one more appearance for them on TV, like I think a month or so after this, like on one of their UK shows. But
mm,
this is basically it for him. And yeah, you could like definitely tell his health is declining. He's definitely not in good shape. He
mm.
comes out to the ring on crutches, which I think was just an angle because I think Earthquake attacked him on TV a few weeks before this. So yeah, honestly, this match wasn't really much to watch. The most notable thing like throughout this match was Bobby Heenan saying that he was going to leave the broadcast area to confront Hulk Hogan in his dressing room, which we'll get into in a few minutes.
Right.
So yeah, the natural disasters pick up the win after Earthquake hits Luke with the Earthquake Splash, and then afterwards the disasters are about to go after Andre, but coming out to his rescue is Hawk and Animal, the Legion of Doom. So they stand in front of Andre, and then the natural disasters back away and run away, and that would lead to their feud that would happen after this event. So yeah, natural disasters win was what it was, and on
Hmm.
to our, and then backstage, Bobby Heenan goes to Hulk Hogan's dressing room, knocks on the door, and he's holding the World Heavyweight Championship from WCW, which was held by Ric Flair, who had just gotten fired by WCW recently after a disagreement with that Jim Herd guy, and
Yep.
then Heenan goes to Hogan's dressing room, holds up the title, and says, "I'm coming on behalf of Ric Flair to challenge you anytime, any place." And as he's in the middle of his promo, Hogan just slams the door on him.
It's foreshadowing. They
Yep. So
should
these,
have ran the ball. You had the ball and you should have ran with it to WrestleMania 8, but they didn't do that.
yeah. So these were the teasers of Ric Flair showing up on WWE TV. It would not happen until 2 weeks after this.
Mm. This is probably one of the biggest mistakes that WWE ever made when it came to storylines. Like you had something good and you didn't run with it.
Damn shame, but that's another story. So in our next
Yeah.
match for the $1 million championship, we had the $1 million man Ted DiBiase with his manager Sherry defending his title against his former bodyguard Virgil.
Ooh, and Virgil's when he became on his singles run, had a very good reaction with the crowd. You know what I mean? This was good for him because
Yeah,
he finally had enough of Ted DiBiase's crap, and he's like, you know what? Nah, I'm tired of you telling me what to do and clean your car and do this and do that. No, I'm not doing it no more, man.
yeah, Virgil was white hot during this period, and
Yeah.
then Roddy Piper was backing him up too. Roddy Piper was like the one who kind of talked him into leaving
Oh
DiBiase,
yeah, that's right. That's right.
and then Piper was at ringside doing commentary for the match too, which also added to it.
Hmm.
Yeah, this match was probably the second best match on the show, I'd say. Um, it wasn't really so much for the match itself, but it's for the story and also for the way it ended. So there's
Yeah.
one point in the match where Virgil has DiBiase in the $1 million dream, and then Sherry hits Virgil with the purse to cause the referee to call for the bell. And then the referee makes a decision that instead of ending the match on a disqualification, he's going to let the match continue, and Sherry has to leave ringside.
Ooh.
Good. So DiBiase, so the referee gets knocked down, and then DiBiase's basically toying with Virgil. He hits him with a few suplexes. He hits him with a pile driver, and then there's one point he could actually pin Virgil because the referee's about to come back up, but then he just kicks the referee back down
Hmm.
because he has like one more trick up his sleeve, and then he goes to the turnbuckle, exposes the turnbuckle, and then he tells Piper, "I have one more for him." And then he picks up Virgil, he points to the turnbuckle, he's about to slam his head into the turnbuckle that's exposed, but then Virgil reverses it and then slams DiBiase's head into the exposed turnbuckle, and then he covers DiBiase just as the referee is getting back too, and then after the third 3 count, Virgil wins the $1 million belt.
Wow. Of all the things that Ted DiBiase loves, he loves that $1 million belt, and that was taken from him. Wow.
And of all people to take it from him, his own bodyguard.
Right. Crazy.
It was the perfect story, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, DiBiase been messing with Virgil for years, like humiliating and embarrassing Virgil for years, and Virgil finally got his payback in the biggest possible way on the biggest
Hmm.
possible stage.
Yep.
And this would be the highlight of Virgil's whole career, and in many ways, probably the highlight of his entire life.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, wrestling wise, there was nowhere higher he could go than this point.
No. I mean, if you wanted a challenge, probably be challenged for another singles title, yeah, though, but I was probably like the furthest.
Yeah, within 3 months, DiBiase beat him for the belt and had it back, and then Virgil was
Oh,
basically like a mid card act from that point on.
oh man.
Yeah, and DiBiase basically wasn't even a solo act for this much longer after this, because by the beginning of the next year, he would be teaming up with IRS to form I Think.
IRS.
Yeah,
Yeah. They were a good
yeah,
tag team. I like them. I like them as a
they
tag team.
were. They were, but like DiBiase losing the $1 million belt here, this kind of like in many ways signaled like the end of like the peak DiBiase run that he was on for years.
Yeah. True. That is, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
that is
loses the
true.
$1 million belt, then he ends up being in a tag team with IRS afterwards. So yeah, this is basically in many ways like the end of like the DiBiase that I knew and grew up on.
And then after that, he started his own faction. That was a money, in uh,
The $1 million corporation
yeah,
when he was a manager. Yeah, that.
yeah.
All right, so Virgil beats DiBiase for the $1 million belt, and on to our next match. We have a jailhouse match between the Big Boss Man and the Mountie, and the loser has to spend the night in jail.
Oh, this was funny. I know you love this. This this match right here. I felt like this crap continued after the match. It was just chaos.
Yeah, in all honesty, the match itself isn't really the talking point of this whole thing. It's everything
Yeah.
that happens after the match. So the Big Boss Man basically beats the Mountie with an Alabama slam, and then afterwards the police officers come out. They handcuff the Mountie. The Mountie's like kicking and screaming, and he's like saying, "Get off me! You're hurting me! You're hurting me! You're hurting me!" And they throw him in the paddy wagon and they drive him away. And throughout the night, they keep showing different footage of like the Mountie going into jail, like him getting booked, like them taking his fingerprints, them taking his picture, or like he refuses to take the picture, and then somebody says, "I guess Boss Man really kicked your ass," and he looks up, says, "What do you say?" And then they take the picture of him.
Wow.
And then when they're taking his fingerprints, he gives him the middle finger, and then they like take his middle finger and just start taking the prints. He's like, "I'm the Mountie. You can't fingerprint me. You can't do this to me. You can't do this to me." He was
It's
wilding.
like we're just gracious. It's like I'm watching an episode of Law and Order or something like that.
Some wild shit. Jimmy Hart was wilding too during promos because they were interviewing like him with like the Nasty Boys and whatnot. He was losing his damn mind.
Sheesh.
Get my lawyers on the phone. I want my lawyers on the phone right now. Somebody's gonna pay for this. Somebody's gonna pay for this. He was wilding out.
I told you, man. It was chaos, dude.
And the best skit of them all was like when he's like screaming and hollering when he's in the cell, and then this like
Oh, that was
one
my favorite.
and like this one like scary looking dude comes up to him and just says, "Hi. Don't you just
Mm-mm.
love the way leather feels against your body?" And then he just fucking
Oh,
screams and loses his damn mind.
dude. Oh, God.
Oh shit! It kind of surprises me that they were doing this like in 1991 WWE, but I liked it.
True. Him flipping the middle finger and all that stuff. And of all the eras, I was like, whoa, they were doing this? Like, you expect to see this in the Attitude Era, but not during this time.
And they were really experimenting a lot during this time. From this, the snake bite incident with Jake and Savage, and then the Rockers
Yeah,
breakup.
that was some dark stuff. You're right.
They were experimenting with that, but yes.
Yeah.
So in our next match, we had for the tag team championship, the very first time we had a match with a no disqualification and no countout stipulation. We had the Nasty Boys defending their tag team titles against the Legion of Doom.
Mm. Another tag team that was red hot.
Yeah, they were white hot during this time. Yeah, like in
Yeah.
'91, the Legion of Doom were white hot in WWE. That was probably the best year they had there between both runs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the match itself was okay for like a no disqualification, no count out match. I expected it to be a little bit more hardcore, but was what it was. The most hardcore thing they did was like hit each other with the helmet, with Jimmy Hart's helmet.
Oh. Mm.
Because when he came out with the Nasty Boys, he always used to wear that helmet. So then Hawk hit Sags with the helmet, then they set up Sags for the Doomsday Device, and then they hit it on Sags, and then they pin him, and the Legion of Doom win the WWE Tag Team Championship for the very first time. And this would mark the very first time any team had won the tag team titles in the AWA, the NWA, and now the WWE.
Nice. It just shows you how dominant of a tag team they were, man. If you're
They
winning
were huge.
those tag team titles in different promotions, that shows you like how popular you are and white hot you are with the crowd, and just overall just how good you are.
Yeah, that was their peak in WWE, was this moment, like winning the titles at SummerSlam
Yeah.
at the Garden, and like being the first team to win all three of those tag team titles. Yeah, it was a great moment to see them win those belts because I was a
Hmm.
huge fan of them when I was a kid, especially. And yeah, to see them
Yeah.
win it here, yeah, it was dope. So like
Mm.
that was the first, and this would mark the first time at a WWE pay per view where three titles would change hands.
Mm. Interesting.
Yeah, that was the thing about this SummerSlam. Other than the Bret and Perfect match, it wasn't so much for the matches that happened. It was more for like the moments, the title changes, etc. That's what like
True.
makes the show really stand out.
Yeah.
So then in our next match, and arguably probably the weirdest match in the whole show that kind of made no sense to be on the show, we had Greg the Hammer Valentine against IRS.
Hmm. Not really much to write about on this one.
Yeah, IRS had just debuted in the company a few months before this, and Greg the Hammer Valentine was a damn babyface, which doesn't even sound right to say.
Right.
He even had theme music.
Disturbing, huh?
Yeah, really weird. Weird vibes seeing Valentine as a babyface, but it is what it is.
Mm.
Valentine goes for a figure four, and then IRS pulls his hair and turns it into a small package, and then picks up the win.
Yeah, I told you, not really much writing on it.
Yeah, not much, but
Yeah.
so now we get to our main events. We have the match made in hell. It's Hulk Hogan, the WWE Champion, and the Ultimate Warrior, taking on Sergeant Slaughter, Colonel Mustafa, and General Adnan, with Sid Justice as a special guest referee.
Colonel Mus. I cannot get over that name. Colonel Mustafa.
And
Look, it just. I cannot believe they literally let General Admon in this match. That was just weird. He's not really a wrestler. He's more like an advocate, a mouthpiece in a way. Um, it was just an odd match, and just even with the Iron Sheik didn't really do much. And it was
yeah,
just
him putting Hogan in the camel clutch at Madison Square Garden for the first time since their '84 match. That was a cool like visual for a brief second. But
yeah.
just in general, like this was a very predictable, like very like uninteresting main event for like your big one of your biggest shows of the year. I'm like, yo,
It
you guys could have
dragged.
came up. I'm like, yo, you guys could have came up with a better like main event for SummerSlam at the Garden than this bullshit.
Right. At the Garden of all places. Come on now. Like we said earlier, this whole, turncoat and the Gulf War thing, it was done. It was played out. The Gulf War was over. So why are you still continuing it? You know what I mean?
Probably
Move
because they
on to
had nothing else more than likely.
oh, please.
Yeah,
Easily could
they're
have did it. Easily could have did Hogan and Warrior versus Taker and
nah, but I
Jake
mean,
the
as far
Snake.
as stretching out the Hogan and Slaughter feud, because they did that match on house shows like pretty much after WrestleMania. They were doing like
Oh
boot camp
no.
matches.
Now see they done.
Yeah, so like the feud was played out by WrestleMania, and we're all the way at SummerSlam, and they're
Yeah.
still doing it.
April
So
dog is a stretch.
huge stretch. Yeah, that
I'm
was a
sorry,
million.
March,
Yeah,
March to April, March,
million and
March.
one
Oh,
better
okay.
matches they could have done than this, but it was what it was. They gave us this match, and it comes to the
Yeah,
point where Ultimate Warrior chases General Adnan and Colonel Mustafa with a chair backstage, and then while Sid's turned around and not looking, Hogan throws salt into the eyes of Sergeant Slaughter, a real babyface move, by the way, and then hits Slaughter
yeah.
with the leg drop, and then Sid counts the fast count for the 1, 2, 3, and Hogan and Warrior win the match.
Throwing salt on somebody. That's yeah. You're right.
I
That
told
is
you, man. Hogan was like a heel disguised as a babyface for years.
God rest his soul, but still.
And funny enough, with the Ultimate Warrior running away and chasing Adnan and Colonel Mustafa with the chair, this would be the last we would see of the Ultimate Warrior on WWE TV until WrestleMania 8 the next year.
You know what? Let's not forget at this time, this was kind of like the
Yes.
beginning of the steroid allegations that the company was under.
Yes, we forgot to mention that earlier. Around that time, like actually, yeah, a few weeks before this SummerSlam, Hulk Hogan appeared on the Arsenio Hall show and blatantly lied about his steroid use over the years.
I mean, do you think anybody else would have did the same thing? I mean, come on,
Nah,
you're
because
not going
people
to
were just
expose
expecting
that.
him. People were just expecting him to like be honest about his steroid use. Like the producers who got him on the
No.
show were expecting him to
Oh
be honest. All
no.
the other wrestlers, even Vince was expecting him to like be more honest about it, and he just flat out lied.
I mean, he doesn't want to expose it. I mean, it's not a surprise to me. The
Yeah, but then
audience
he
are expecting it, but it's like there's that protection of the company because you don't want to tell the truth and then you expose everything and then you're under all scrutiny and then like, well, where you? Oh, it's just when
He just
you're a
made,
wrestler,
but
man.
the consensus of it was that he just made himself look worse by lying the way he did.
Nah, yeah.
Yeah, nobody, yeah,
Did
everybody, be
anybody
it
even did
Vince, the
anybody?
other wrestlers, they all thought he was like, they all thought he fucked up by lying the way he did.
Wow. So I mean, could it Vince could at least went up to him and told him like, look, if he asks you about it, just tell the truth. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
I know when these wrestlers go on these interviews, these talk shows, I know Vince has to sit down or has like a rule with everybody like, look, if they ask you this, this, and this, you know, this is going to be your response. I know he has to tell these wrestlers these.
yeah, that was the thing. They were expecting him to just like be more honest about it because steroids didn't really become illegal until like around that time. So
Yeah.
even if he had been doing it for years, like he wasn't technically doing anything illegal. So
Did anybody like? Was there somebody that actually came out and said like, you know what? Yeah, tell the truth.
I think superstar Billy Graham around this time was like being very vocal about it.
Oh right, I remember that.
And
Oh yeah,
even in
you're
that
right.
interview with Arsenio, Hogan kind of threw superstar Billy Graham like under the bus,
Oh,
which
that
led to
makes it
superstar
worse.
Billy Graham like going off on Hogan in the interviews like months later, talking about how like crazy Hogan's drug use was and steroid use was, but that's another story. So
Yeah.
yeah, this period, this '91 period was really the start of Hogan like really getting stale and like starting to fall off, and people were starting to sour on him a little bit. Yeah, this is like the first rumblings of that was like this time frame.
Wow.
And getting into Ultimate Warrior, a few weeks before this SummerSlam, he sent Vince McMahon a letter demanding the money that he was owed for WrestleMania 7 for Vince to pay him, or else he was going to no show SummerSlam.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That was
Yeah, this is the SummerSlam of that.
nope, not good. It's crazy for all that nonsense that he came back.
Yeah, I mean, look, granted, it was money that he was owed, but yeah, they did not take a liking to him like pulling that kind of power play to the point where Hogan and Slaughter even like volunteered to like teach Warrior a lesson during the match, which Vince told him not to because he didn't want to have a lawsuit. So he said like, yeah,
Hmm.
let's just do the match and then we'll handle it afterwards. So then once Warrior gets to the back, he gets a letter saying that he's suspended, and then he gets another letter from Vince basically like shitting on him, talking about how like he's not as big of a star as Hogan is, he's not as much in demand as Hogan is. Yeah, he let Warrior have it in that note. And then Warrior, instead of serving his suspension, he just quit. And then he ended up not coming back until, yeah, WrestleMania 8.
Crazy.
Yeah, weird situation. And in many ways, honestly, the Warrior was just never the same after this. Like, after he left
Nope.
after this stint, the times they brought him back, like, after, like, in 92 and 96, it was not the same vibe.
He even looked different.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, this is like the last night of, like, the Ultimate Warrior, like, everybody grew up on and everybody was, like, infatuated with. Yeah, this was it.
Yeah.
So because Ultimate Warrior got fired or quit or whatever it was, that scheduled feud he had with Jake the Snake Roberts was scrapped, and taking his place in that feud would be actually at first Sid Justice. Sid Justice actually took the place of Warrior at first until Sid got hurt, and then taking the place of Sid would be the Macho Man. And getting into Macho Man, let's get into the main event of this SummerSlam, which was the match made in heaven, the wedding of Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth. It was Macho Man looked dripped out. I really liked Macho Man's tux. He really looked mad dripped out.
And the hat
Also,
too.
yeah, the hat, everything. Elizabeth looked great. They have the wedding without any issues, without any trouble or shenanigans. Everything seems to go fine. They say their I do's. Savage and Elizabeth kiss for the first time on TV ever, which is cool to see. And like, yeah, there's balloons coming all the way down from the ceiling at Madison Square Garden. Everybody's cheering, everybody's celebrating. It's a great moment. And yeah, nothing happened during the broadcast to ruin the wedding. But
Oh God. Okay, so two things. Number one, this is the first and only wedding that actually was successful in wrestling because every other weddings afterwards just was a disaster.
Yeah, there was no shenanigans like during the broadcast, like when they actually have the wedding and get married, everything is cool. But then the
Yeah.
following Saturday on Superstars, there was footage released from the wedding reception of Macho Man and Elizabeth, where they're getting gifts, and then Elizabeth opens up one gift, and coming out of the box of that gift is Jake the Snake Roberts' Cobra.
I wonder, is that footage on the VHS of that SummerSlam?
Yeah, the original VHS I rented from the video store. That was the first time I watched it. Was yeah that
Oh, they show that footage after.
Yeah, after the wedding, yeah, they show the footage of the reception where everything happens. So yeah, a snake comes out of the box and starts like crawling all over the place, and then Undertaker hits Macho Man with the urn, and then Jake the Snake takes the snake and starts taunting Elizabeth with it, like shoving it in her face, and then Sid Justice comes and makes the save, and he hits like Jake with a chair and chases them away, and yeah, that would lead to the Savage and Jake feud that would go on like later in the year towards the end of '91 with the whole snake bite incident and everything that happened
Mm.
afterwards.
Wow.
So yeah, that was SummerSlam '91 for you in the flesh. The wedding went off without any issues, like when it was broadcast, it was live. But then afterwards, when we didn't see it, that's when all the fireworks came out.
Oof. So, from overall scale of 1 through 10, what do you thought about this event?
On a scale from 1 to 10, I give this show a 7. Probably a little lower than I would have rated it when I was a kid, but on a scale
Hmm.
from 1 to 10, I give it a 7. The Bret Hart and Mr. Perfect match is incredible. The Virgil and DiBiase match is also good, mainly for the story more than anything else in the conclusion. And the title changes and the Mounties night in jail were the highlights of this show. And yeah, the wedding was nice too. Yeah, I also like the wedding.
Yeah. Um, I give it a 7 too. Because of mainly with Bret Hart and the Mr. Perfect matches as like the best thing from that night, and then the Boss Man and Mountie. Not just the match, but what happened after was fun too, though. But and then the wedding, I think overall that was just it. And then how can you forget about Ted DiBiase and Virgil? So just a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, fair enough. And yeah, it was crazy how things would like really change after this SummerSlam with Ultimate Warrior
Yeah,
leaving for all those months, and then
but
the steroid scandal was like really starting to
yeah,
get a lot of attention like right after this, and Hogan was starting to kind of like get stale, and the audience was starting to sour on him, and also his public image was taking a hit too with all the steroid allegations and drug allegations. And yes, also 2 weeks after this SummerSlam, without Ultimate Warrior being around anymore, he had found he was replaced, and he was replaced by none other than Ric Flair.
yeah. It's funny because the SummerSlam was all right though, but they did redeem themselves the following year.
You think '92 is better than '91?
Oh hell yes,
Okay, fair
without
enough.
question. Yeah,
Yeah, and funny enough, this was the last SummerSlam of the Hulkamania era. Hulk
yeah,
Hogan would not wrestle at a SummerSlam again until the one with Shawn Michaels in 2005.
yeah. I mean, even though Ultimate Warrior wasn't the same the following year, that match that he had against Savage that following year, that was an underrated match, by the way.
Yeah, but in many ways, this SummerSlam is like kind of the end of an era in a sense. How like Warrior left, and it was like the end of that Warrior that we grew up with, and DiBiase
Yeah,
losing the $1 million belt. That was like the end of the DiBiase that was like so known for the stuff he was doing at that time, like having Virgil as his bodyguard, having the $1 million belt, and like now he
yeah,
had none of that. So I was kind of like the end of that character, and also Mr. Perfect too. After this, Mr. Perfect didn't wrestle again for over a year, and when he did wrestle again, he was a babyface.
yeah. Bit weird though, but yeah.
Yeah, so this SummerSlam in many ways was the end of like the Hulkamania era in a sense, so, like the last one of the Hulkamania era. And
Mhm.
funny enough, I would say besides the match with Orton in 2006, this is by far Hulk Hogan's worst SummerSlam match.
Yeah, I
Everybody
mean,
hates that match. Everybody who I hear talks about that match with Orton, everybody shits on it.
dude, I have not watched '06 in a while, and I think that one is the one I really don't really care too much for, if I'm being
It
quite
wasn't that
honest.
great. Yeah, it wasn't that great.
Yeah. Um, yeah, you are right. That match wasn't kind of
But in any event, yeah, this is still a fun SummerSlam, even though things were starting to change in WWE at the time, and they would change even more as the months progressed from this. It was still a fun. You still got like the last of like that Hogan era, that golden age era. These are like kind of like the
Yeah.
last legs of it was like this SummerSlam.
Hmm.
So
I
that's
agree.
in many ways made it fun too. And
Yeah.
obviously Madison Square Garden, that setting really hooked it up.
Of
Yeah,
course.
anytime you have a show at Madison Square Garden, it always adds to it.
Oh yeah. True. Very true.
Okay, so that is SummerSlam 91 for you guys. And for our next episode of Wrestling Review Rewind, I was thinking of either doing Unforgiven 2001 or Unforgiven 2006.
You know, a part of me does want to say 2001 because I haven't watched '01 in God knows how long though. But I
And also it was
love,
around the time of also it was around the time of 9/11 too.
yeah. But damn it, I love 2006.
Yeah, I know it's one of your
But
favorites. I know it's one
but
of your
we could do 2001 because I have not watched 2001 in God knows how long.
it's a pretty good show. Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
liking it.
Yeah, and it's that's a lot to talk about because this is right after 9/11, dude, and they still WWE still decided to go along with their shows and Kurt Angle winning the title, an American um, you know, wrestler like that winning the title after like a time when the country's grieving. That was very emotional, in his
Yeah, it
hometown of
was a good.
Pittsburgh. So yeah, I think we should do 2001.
All right, so 2001 Unforgiven it is. We'll be doing that
Yeah.
show next month. But yes, we have Clash in Paris this coming Sunday at 2 o'clock Eastern
Hmm.
time, 11 o'clock your time.
Ooh, Sunday.
Yep, gonna be
Yeah.
and your precious football starts next week too.
Hell yeah, baby. That's right. College already started though, but man, oh man.
Yeah, so
Oh,
your Sundays are gonna be busy for the next few months.
you damn right.
All right, so guys, follow us on our social media, follow us on our Instagram page, our Facebook page, subscribe to our YouTube channel, subscribe to our Spotify, Spreaker. You can find all of our past episodes there. Like, subscribe, let us know what you think. We'd love to talk and debate with you in a healthy way, keyword healthy way. So yes, enjoy
Mhm.
Clash in Paris this weekend. Go back and watch SummerSlam 91 if you haven't watched it in a while. It's even on the WWE Vault channel on YouTube.
The whole show,
Whole
or
show.
I've been liking this WWE Vault stuff they've been doing.
Yeah, they've been adding a lot of good stuff on there. They even had
They
added a
have.
match recently with Cena, Brock, no, not Brock Lesnar, Cena, JBL, and Angle from '05 with Austin as the referee from like
I
Ireland.
saw that. I was like, "What in the world?" I was like, "Wow, okay." I like how they're bring some unseen stuff that I've never seen before. That's interesting. And what I was about to say. Um, yeah, I can't wait for Clash of Paris. I don't know if there's any like good French food I recommend to eat prior to the show though. But yeah,
Yeah, it's gonna be a solid show. I think overall, I think every match has potential to be good or great, whichever ends up being. But I think out of the matches at Clash in Paris, I do think the Sheamus and Rusev match is gonna deliver. I think Roman and Bronson Reed
that's
will be great. And I think
I
the
think
four
that's gonna
way
be
should
my
also be fun
favorite
too.
match. I think Roman Reigns and Bronson Reed is gonna be my favorite match of the night.
Very possible. But yes, check out
Yeah.
that show, check out our content. And until next time, for John Randall, this is Conscious Curve with another edition of Clash of Champions. Take care, enjoy your Labor Day weekend. And remember, don't be an asshole in real life or social media because that toxic bullshit is for the birds.
And ladies and gentlemen, as I always say, and it's been a while since I said this, stay safe, stay blessed, and always stay adventurous.
Yes, sir. Take care.